All right, let's see. Yeah, way better. Before this video starts, take a look at this.
Luckily, this time it has approximately. Oh, you don't have a hitch on the. Oh yeah, so you had to use that hook. Yeah, normally I would say not to use one of those hooks for a kinetic pull. Yeah.
But yeah, safety wise.
Well, and just strength wise, that's why you heard that gnarly little yank. Bolted in, so it's just pulling against the. Way too many times on this trip, I've just been describing things this way.
Now that, albeit a successful snatch recovery, is something that I don't ever want to do again. I used the stock tow point that's on the rear bumper of the Jeep, and that is not the best thing to use when you're doing a snatch recovery for a myriad of reasons. Number one, it's an open system, right? It's not closed, it's just a hook. And at any given moment, I could have backed up and the shackle could have came off that thing and I wouldn't have even known it, and I would have jerked myself forward and not knowing that I was no longer attached to the person that I'm trying to snatch out. And it would have just not been pretty, just kind of revving forward like that. Number two, it is strong, right? Like that toe point is a good spot if you need to get winched out slowly. But to do a snatch recovery where you have all this kinetic energy in that rope that's just stored in that rope, and then the minute you pull, it's supposed to release that energy to pull someone out. If that stock toe point was not secured, that thing could have flown and then hit the windshield of the person that I'm trying to snatch out. Let me just say that I am so glad and thankful that this thing happened without any major incident. And it was in that moment that I realized I really need to get a legit rear bumper. Something with tow points that are a closed system by which the entire bumper is attached to the vehicle, and then I can put a closed loop system, a shackle on there, and be able to pull someone out safely. And that is why we are doing a rear bumper installation on the Jeep. Finally. You know, rear bumper is something that many of us overlook. It's not like a priority for some of us unless you want to get like dual swing outs with tire carrier and be able to carry all this other stuff. Like, I've had the Jeep a while and I've had a front bumper, I've had rock sliders, I've done all this other stuff, and I kept pushing off the rear bumper thinking, I don't need it. Until this moment, when I did that recovery, I'm like, nope, it's time. It's really time. If I'm going to do any more snatch recoveries in the future, I need to get a rear bumper that can handle that type of thing. So I finally decided to pull the trigger on the ARB Jeep JK rear bumper. Now, I don't think I need to sell you on why I went with ARB. Like, you can't get any more top tier than ARB bumpers. The quality of them, the looks of them, but you're going to pay for it. It's not cheap. But the thing is, it's not just the looks that you're paying for, it's the durability. I've had the ARB front bumper on this Jeep for, I don't know, 3 years now, and it still looks, like, no lie, as new as the day I got it. I live on the beach, and so many things have already rusted on this Jeep, except for the front bumper. The front bumper has no scratches, no dents, no rust, and it basically fits like a glove, and that is what you're basically going to be paying for. You're going to be paying for a product that's going to last you for many, many years. You can definitely go the cheap route and get a rear bumper, front bumper for like $100-200 from another company, but then you'll find that eventually they start to rust, or they start to flex, or even sometimes the mounting holes don't line up to the stock holes that are on your vehicle, and you're having a really hard time just mounting it up. But with ARB, I've never had any issues. I've never had any problems with my ARB front bumper, so getting the rear bumper, it just, not only will it complete the look of the Jeep, but I know it'll take care of me just as well as the front bumper has taken care of me these past few years. And I'm not sponsored by ARB. I don't even know anybody at ARB. I just really love the quality of their bumpers, and I know that putting my money into that is a really wise choice. As expensive as it is, I know that it's gonna last me for a really, really long time. Now, if you've been following my videos, then you'll probably have seen that the rear bumper has already been installed. It was installed about a couple of months ago, but I'm gonna take you back right now to the installation to show you how it was done. Spoiler alert, it was really simple. No lie, I thought it was gonna take me like all day to install this thing, and it took me maybe 2 hours. It wasn't hard at all. So I'm gonna take you back right now and show you exactly how I did it. So obviously the first thing is to remove everything off the tailgate to make the bumper easier to install. To remove the stock bumper, there are 2 bolts on each side. They are not super tight, so it should come off pretty easily. Now remove the 2 bolts at the bottom. Once all 6 bolts have been removed, the plastic bumper should just come right off. Now we have to remove the tow hook on the left side. These bolts are a bit tighter, so I used an impact driver. There are 2 on the side and 1 at the bottom. Now the new bumper comes with a lot of pieces, and by habit I always sort them out so I know where to find what I need. Now we have to prep the bumper before installation. First, use the 5 M6 bolts, nuts and washers to attach the cover panel. Then, if you're not installing ARB's tire carrier, use the cover plate to cover the hole using the 2 M6 button screws. Now we have to prepare the catch plates. For these, you want to attach the 3 square cage nuts to each one. Sometimes they're difficult to push in, but using a flathead screwdriver makes it easier. Now take these catch plates and slide them into the frame on each side of the vehicle. So I'm supposed to take this, and you put this in and you line up these 2 right here with the 2 bottom holes on the chassis. But in the instructions it says, "It's been noted that on some models that the bottom chassis rail holes may only appear on one side." Well, guess whose model only has holes on one side? Yep, this guy. I got holes over there. I don't have any bottom holes over here, except for 1, but that doesn't count. Yeah, so I have to drill. Because of course I do. To figure out where to drill, mount the bumper up and let it rest on the frame. Make sure it's straight and seated properly, and it would help for 2 people to do this. Then look at the bottom and that will tell you where the holes must be. Mark it and then drill your holes. When you're done, go ahead and put the catch plate back in. Now go ahead and mount the bumper again, making sure it's straight and seated all the way. Starting on each side, use 2 bolts and the flat bracket, making sure you're bolting into the catch plate inside the frame. Then use a 3rd bolt for the other hole. Now this can get a bit tricky lining it all up with the catch plate, but once you get one in there, it should be easier to line the rest up. Now we have to drill into the frame again for one side. There's an access hole in the bumper for you to get to the frame. Just like when I drilled into the frame earlier, this took a while also because you're having to drill through heavy gauge steel. I may or may not have fallen asleep. Don't forget to spray some black spray paint around the holes you just drilled to protect the frame from rust. You're not spraying the bumper, just the frame inside, so it helps if you mask out the bumper from overspray. Now using some painter's tape, I attached the bolt to my socket wrench so that I can lower it into the frame hole we just drilled. Then from the access hole in the front, put the nut into the other side. This is when it helps to have long skinny fingers like mine, I guess. Now all that's left is to tighten that bolt, place the cover over the access hole, and you're done. I can't believe it took me this long to finally get a rear bumper on the Jeep. I should have done this way sooner. Not only do I have the security now of knowing that if I have to do a snatch recovery, I have the actual tow points in the back to pull that off. Plus I can actually stand on the rear bumper now if I need to get something from the roof rack. Yeah, I could stand on the plastic ones before, but it was always kind of flimsy. And if you're heavier than me and I don't weigh a lot, that might be a problem. But at least with the steel bumper, I know I could stand on it, and plus it'll take all the hits that we might encounter on the trail, which is something that I can't say for a plastic bumper. So to answer the question, if you're a Jeep owner, do you need to upgrade your stock rear bumper when you don't really need it to hold a spare tire, since we have a spare tire carrier already in the back? Well, it depends. Are you planning on doing rock crawling, trailing? Are you gonna do snatch recoveries? Things like that, yeah, you should definitely get a rear bumper, and don't overlook that, because the utility on having a rear bumper on your Jeep, especially when you're doing recoveries like I just did, it's something that's important, because you don't want to do a recovery that's unsafe. And having a rear bumper on there that you know is secure, it's held on to the vehicle, and it has a closed system, you'll be able to do your snatches without any problems at all. But yeah, that's it. Not really much else for me to say about a rear bumper, except that if you are planning on doing some of the things that I've had to do, then definitely upgrade your rear bumper. And if you do upgrade your rear bumper, make sure you get a quality one from a company that you know is reputable. Look at companies like ARB, TJM, Metal Cloak. Spend the extra for quality products, ones that are not gonna flex, ones that are not gonna rust, ones that will actually be able to take the abuse that you're going to put it through. Now, if you like this video, please make sure you don't snatch that like button, subscribe to our channel, click that notification bell so we can let you be aware of new videos when they come out. And if it moves you, support us on Patreon. It gives you access to all of our videos before everyone else, and it gives you access to our live streams when we do them. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Baptism Overland. My name is Asia Sampson, and I will see you next time. Brad, can you drive up a little bit?
I'll just pull up.
Brad, you can't do that because you're stuck.
God.